Where are you at? The one question that turns a wish into a goal. Almost everybody wants more out of life, more income, better relationships, a career that actually means something and makes a difference. But almost nobody has a plan, right? And here's why. There's a real difference between a wish and a goal. And there's one question that can quickly close that gap. These videos are a collaboration. Sourena, who has cerebral palsy, develops the written material, and I present it on camera. It's Sourena and Chris here with another Mindset video.
I'm because I'm quite good at the questions. No, there are my questions. That can be back. What is happening? What is this? Not fair. This question that can be anywhere. There are questions that can keep on very fast. All you have to do is ask them.
All you have to do is ask them. Yeah, that's one thing that Sourena will tell you is if you truly want to be successful, you've got to ask questions. You've got to find your blind spots. You've got to really be honest in your assessments of where you're at. And more importantly, as Sourena mentioned, then you got to deal with the answers, right? Once you ask the honest questions and give the honest answers, that's what's going to be your fuel moving forward if you're willing to really ask the right questions and listen to those answers. And I'll go into a lot more in this video. I'll take it away. Today we're going to talk about a question that Sourena comes back to over and over again. It's a very simple question, a very short question. Where are you at? It sounds small, but it's meaningful, right? Forget about vague vision boards and resolutions and things like that. But we're going to talk about something that actually works. The wish versus a goal. A wish is one end of the spectrum. It's vague, comfortable, safe, easy to say, something you can hold on to forever. A goal sits on the other end of the spectrum. A goal is concrete and it's something that you're actually moving towards. And the fastest way to turn a wish into a goal, which is what you need to do in order to be successful, is to ask yourself one deceptively simple question, and that's, where are you at? A wish costs you nothing. A goal costs you honesty. Who's really writing your story? Most people never do the honest work of asking where they stand. They let chance and circumstance write their story instead. You know, we've all had that difficult boss who micromanages and is not the best leader and the best mentor, dictating where our career is going, or insecure friends that hold you back and keep you feeling small, and politicians and media that get you fired up and outraged and angry, right? They're writing your story. Piece by piece, people hand their future over to other people without even noticing. But think about your own lives and where these things have affected you and kind of created your story, your narrative, right? Those happen all the time. But think about this. You wouldn't let a stranger drive your car. Why would you let strangers drive your life and tell your story? Sourena's own story, the fear he never said out loud. For years, Sourena had a fear of success that he never really admitted to anyone, let alone didn't really admit it to himself. Right? He didn't chase certain opportunities, whether it was speaking or presenting or running workshops and all of those things, because he was afraid his body couldn't handle the travel because of the cerebral palsy. Right? He was really thinking a lot about what he could do, what he couldn't do, and could his body really support any of these things that he was really trying to accomplish. And there were questions he never answered directly that were really important. Like, what if he couldn't build a team that could support him and help him with those things he needed help with? What if he ended up resenting every single flight he had to get on because it was more challenging than it is for most of us? Right? Those things were always in his mind. And he let those questions just sit there, and they ended up turning into procrastination and dragging out one excuse at a time, right? But unanswered questions don't disappear, right? That's the thing. They just become the quiet reason why you never start moving forward, never start going after a goal. Where are you? The honest inventory. The first question is, where are you? And buried inside it is a second one. How'd you get here, right? Turning a wish into a goal means taking honest stock of your starting point. And by the way, we all have different starting points, and that is okay, right? Want to write a book? Have you done any research? You want to date more, better relationships? Are you putting yourself out there? Are you using dating apps and are you trying to meet people? Are you eyeing a new career role, a new move? Well, are you preparing a resume? Are you getting ready for that? Considering Entrepreneurship, have you read books? Have you gotten a coach? Have you put your ideas down on paper? Have you gone to networking events? Right? All those things are your honest inventory, because once you know where you start, then you're able to move forward. Right? And these questions don't judge you. They just tell you how close or how far you are from a goal. That's why it's so crucial that you ask them, right? Because it's easy to point to outside forces. I have no opportunity. I just have bad luck. I don't have the right connections. There's something always holding me back, right? It's harder to ask whether you actually showed up, right? That's where a goal sometimes gets exposed as a wish that's just wearing a disguise. Next steps and logistics. So once you're honest about where you stand, the next layer of questions shows up on its own. What are the next steps? What are the logistics needed to make this happen? Right? These are process questions. And as you know, Sourena is very big on habits and processes because they're so crucial to you accomplishing your goals. And they matter for people who've been at something for years, right? They matter for everybody. It doesn't matter where you're at on your path. These matter as much as anything else that you could ask yourself, right? Someone writing a book can ask how to build out an outline or structure a chapter. Someone who's worked out for a decade can still figure out, are there new, better ways to train? Or somebody's trying to get healthy, are there better ways to eat now, right? Progress rarely comes from just effort. Even though we hear that all the time, right? Give 150%. It rarely comes from that 150%. It comes from refining the process behind that effort that's taking you towards your goals. What's actually in your way? Most people treat their challenges as a fixed feature of who they are, rather than things that can be worked through, right? Anxiety, tightening up in big moments, self-sabotage, being passive-aggressive without even realizing it. These are so common. It happens to the best of us, right? But they're often invisible when people have these things. We've probably all done this and not even realized it, right? And that's where self-awareness comes in. Self-awareness is challenging, yet it's so important for your success, because it asks you to name the things that you spent years avoiding or hiding, right? That's why self-awareness, as important as it is and how much it can help you improve, is really, really challenging, right? And you can't fix what you won't name. The layer people skip the most are your relationships, right? Investing in other people is one of the highest leverage moves you can ever make. Sourena is so big on relationships, and for all the right reasons. Nobody's successful by themselves. You've got to build relationships. They've got to be win-win relationships. We all hear of the self-made person. That's really a myth. And by the way, no fun at all, right? Relationships make worth living, right? But we think sometimes that we need to do things independently, right? To feel like we don't need anyone or it's not responsible to rely on other people. But the honest question is, did you ask for help? Did you build a network? Did you build a team? Because those are truly the things that need to be in place for you to be successful. Successful people build relationships that help both sides. Again, Sourena is so big on the win-win principle of relationships. Never seek to get something from someone. Seek to get and seek to give. Because when that happens, you sustain relationships and you maximizing those, right? It's never just about yourself. Those answers, when you answer those questions, it usually explains a lot about why your progress may have stalled or, in a good way, why it's accelerated. The questions that trap you versus the questions that move you, right? Why isn't this fair? Why has this always happened to me? Why do things have to be like this? Those are trap questions, and they keep you trapped, right? They keep you stuck in place. How can I make this happen? Who can help me with this? What's a better way? What am I avoiding? What scares me? And how do I deal with that fear? Those do the opposite. Those are not trap questions. Those propel you forward. Those point you towards action, right? That shift from disempowering questions to empowering questions is as much a part of the clarity as any single answer you'll ever find. So the question you keep asking yourself is whether you're building your future or you're excusing your past. Questions alone don't finish the job, but they're the first absolutely necessary step, right? What separates people who actually change their life from people who just talk about changing and never really do anything about it is the curiosity to chase down real answers to real questions and then to let those answers redirect their path in the direction it needs to go to be successful, right? And there's rarely a perfect moment to start. We said that earlier, right? Many people spend their whole lives waiting for the right time or the right circumstance. It is rarely ever actually right? So don't wait for that right circumstance that's never going to come. There might be a bad time. There's never an ideal one. The important thing is just to take action. So Sorena's challenge to you, right? Today, ask yourself, where are you at, right? Not where you wish you were, not where you'll be someday, but where are you at actually right now? And answer that honestly, because the next question will find you on its own. If you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, and I'm sure that you did, make sure you like it, share it, and most importantly, subscribe to this channel.